Recording. We're recording episode 236. Dale Comstock and Joe Tedeye. No bullshit introductions. Let's fucking get through this. I stayed up until 5:30 in the morning at 2 a.m. or around. I listened to the Joe Rogan live stream last night with Tim Dillon and Kyle Kulinski. Kyle Kulinski is a pretty liberal political scientist, and even he was saying towards the end of it, he's like, this is going to Trump. I don't see this going to Biden. I stayed up watching until like midnight, and then I started to see weird fuckery like Philadelphia or Pennsylvania just stopped counting. They wouldn't call Georgia at 94%, and I was like, all right. And then Trump came on at 2 a.m. and said, we've won this, and I'm using the Supreme Court to say that you have to stop counting because we all know what's going to happen. They're going to start finding ballots and boxes of ballots at 4 a.m. And, hey, what do you know? This morning, I went to bed last night, and I screenshotted the electoral map. And Trump was still leading in Michigan and Wisconsin. I woke up this morning. Isn't that weird how in Michigan they found 168,000 votes? 100% were for Joe Biden. Not one for Joe Jorgensen, not one for the Green Party, and not one for Trump. And they are now saying that this is going to keep going. The governor of Pennsylvania said if we count every vote, Trump will lose. Biden last night went on and said he winked and smiled and said, wait till they're finished counting. We won. I think we're seeing it taken out from our feet right in front of us, and I don't think Trump's going to go down peacefully. But that's my intro rant. Boys, what's happening?
Let me talk real quick.
Yeah.
And I'll let Dale jump in. But, guys, and for those of you that are watching this, you need to take the wax out of your ears and clear your head. This has been a perfectly executed mission.
Yeah.
And you have to take your hat off to these Democrat left perfectly executed mission to the T. They use COVID as a weapon to get people to turn in ballots. So let me ask you this question. Again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but let me ask you this. Why would you require people to turn in ballots after the time that the election is over, not before it? Why after? Why didn't you say, look, just like a store, voting ends at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. Boom, that's it. You got a year to know when to vote, but you're going to allow people to turn in ballots after that time. I don't understand. It was the Democrats did it because of COVID. It was Nancy Pelosi and a couple other people that put this out there so people could vote after. This has been perfectly planned and executed. And it's scary that they've done it so well. And for those of you that can't see it, you know what?
It's been beautifully executed. It's been beautifully executed.
I hate it. But I'm here to tell you, I've got my TV on right here. They're now saying that Trump has to win 4 states. I think they said Pennsylvania, North Carolina, which, guys, okay, I live in North Carolina. Do you know how many Biden signs I've seen in the last 2 months? 2! How can it be 50-50?
I lived in Georgia.
Where are these votes coming from? I've gone from Charlotte to Raleigh. I've seen 2 Biden signs.
Yeah. And the only thing I can think of is if it's this perfectly executed, and it is. It's a beautifully executed plan. It's what Robert Spalding said about China. You have to respect your enemy. They're playing a beautiful game. That being said, I don't think, as much as a lot of people think Donald Trump's retarded, I don't think he is, and I don't think Joe Biden's stupid. But to follow that train of thought, I don't think Trump didn't see this coming. I don't think that they haven't been working on this. I'm guaranteed they've been war planning this and using game theory. I think that they know exactly what's happening. I think that's why he came out at 2 a.m. and he made a statement. He took the narrative, and he said, we've won this election, and we're not going to let them take it from us because they're doing a disservice to the American people. Here's
the trick, though, guys. I talked to an attorney friend of mine today, Harvard graduate, an attorney, businessman, very smart. Here's the challenge. If they challenge the election, from my understanding, it's going to go to the hands of the Supreme Court, okay? The challenge is there are no legal precedents out there that our 9 justices can say, okay, well, Tommy versus Joe in 1916, there are 0 legal precedences. And if there are no legal precedences, they cannot judge on it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how true that is. I'm not an attorney. Let me say that again. That's what I've been told. But it makes sense. How do you rule on something where there is no legal precedence? How do you do that?
There's never so it's not like there's always been legal precedents, right? Something has to happen.
Has to be beginning.
Ruled on. That would be the precedent. So this is new, right? That doesn't mean the Supreme Court can't rule on it. It's just, it's a new anomaly for them, right? So that's what their job is, to hash that out and figure it out. So the upside to that is, again, I think you're right. Trump, his campaign, they've already seen all this. Look, these guys, they got their war room and they're looking way down the road, and they're basically coming up with their, various courses of action matrices, and going, okay, well, if they do this, what do we do? They've already got this figured out too. And I guarantee you, this was not a surprise last night to them.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so they know that. And so they have a contingency plan, probably several contingency plans. Let's face it, what was it? The left, the Democrats had something like 400 lawsuits already spun up 6 months ago in preparation for this, right? So they're already developing their battle plans. None of this was, accidental. This is all deliberate. Everything it's been deliberate. Yeah. So I think the upside is Trump made a smart move by getting a new Supreme Court justice in there, and he didn't fall for the game of guilt and shame. Hey man, you're on watch until the final hour. Nobody says you stop working just because you're in an election, man. And he did what he's supposed to do. Amen. That might piss off the left because they didn't get their way, but it doesn't matter. He did what he said he was going to do for his constituency, and he did it. So one, that was a smart move. That basically is, I'm going to put that in as a win in his column, man. Two, it looks like GOP is going to get the Senate. Okay. Basically that's the wall that Biden and the House is going to have to get through to pass any of their bullshit. So effectively, no matter what happens, even if Trump loses, okay, the Biden will be a sitting duck. He'll be a lame duck. He's going to have not a whole lot of power, man, to wield, because he's not going to get through the Senate unless there's some freaking, there's some rhinos in there that are going to acquiesce to the left. I don't know. But so I kind of feel like this is not going to go nowhere. And the other side of it is, I doubt this would happen, but I believe Trump could actually run for another term. He could come back again in 4 years and run for another 4 years. Wouldn't that be ironic? I doubt if he would do it, but I would fully support that, man.
I bet he would. What do you mean he doubt if he'd do it? He would do it in a heartbeat.
Because you know why he would do it? Because this will turn into a shit show for the next 4 years under Biden, and everybody will finally, the lights will come and go, damn, what did I vote for?
Yeah.
Give me Trump back. And so, he could probably win. Sadly, we have to go through 4 years of turmoil and bullshit. Our lives are upended because of this power grab, man. And it's not just about America, man. It's about the whole world. The whole world that's, a democracy, if you will, is sitting on pins and needles right now. They need Trump to win because they know if Trump doesn't win, we will all be bowing to the Chinese.
Yeah. Right.
We'll be we'll be on our knees,
Again.
So, and they know that, right? Look, and look, the dumb masses, man, they all think that this pandemic was some kind of accidental freaking virus. No, it was not. This was a deliberate bioweapon, man. Moreover, the Democrats, even if it wasn't, let's just say it wasn't a deliberate thing. Just to say it was a legit virus popped up out of nowhere. The Democrats seized on that right away. They go, okay, we can make this pandemic. Yeah, we can make this a pandemic, lock people down, make them afraid to go vote, do mail-in voting, and then we can freaking screw up the voting ballots, right? And we can do a lot of weird shit to win, right? So this is all, and most people out there will go, oh, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theory. And I'm going to tell you, you're an idiot if you don't believe something like that's possible. And you shouldn't be voting more, and certainly not reproducing, man, because you're a moron, man. And I know, people are not going to like what I have to say, but I'm done being nice to people, man. I really am. And because, and I keep seeing this time, hey, no matter who wins, we're all Americans. We should all get along. And no, we're not all Americans, okay? Because if you're an American, you're going to support the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, man. That's what you're going to do. And the left is not going to do that. That's not what they want to do. They want to completely undermine it. Second Amendment, even First Amendment. They want to strip Americans of their inherent inalienable rights, man. You know, and so that makes you the enemy of not just me, but my children. And so for my kids' sakes, man, I will stand between you and my children. We cannot be friends. You have basically declared yourself an enemy to me and the people in this country. So at best, you're a pseudo-American. Fine, fuck you if you don't like that. All right, fuck you, exactly. And I said that because I don't care anymore. This country has been divided because you can blame the politicians. All they are the puppet masters, right? It's everybody underneath that buys into the bullshit, right? And doesn't do their due diligence, doesn't exercise common sense, and doesn't really look at the facts. Yeah. Okay. And it just kind of go along with whatever the hearsay is of the day on CNN or whatever, man. And so you have a responsibility to study the policies, to look at the bigger picture and dig deep, man. Not just get your news and glean your news off the news channels, right? Or what somebody else posts on Facebook. So
you want to hear an interesting statistic? I just got this on my email. I'm not going to tell you where I got this, but they're saying that one of the reasons of this disparity of why Trump didn't blow this election out is that 16% of the people that voted for Biden only because they hated Trump so much.
Yeah.
Now think about that.
But that's as much as I don't like that, that's fair. You're allowed to not vote for the guy.
And so that is what you're seeing a lot of this. It's not that they like Biden so much; they hate Trump so much. And they're saying right around 16% is what.
And as shitty as that is, though, that's fair game, and that's not. With all due respect, I don't think that's a point we should focus, because you're allowed to vote for a president because he's black. You're allowed to vote for a kid because she is a woman. So I don't think that's as interesting as it's just, when has Steven Crowder said this last night at like 4 a.m. The dude went for like 8 hours straight. But he goes, we have night at his podcast. He goes, we have night shifts when we're changing servers or putting up a new website. He goes, we have night shifts and we stagger it. Why? Because there's some things that you just can't let go offline because they're important. He goes, why is there not, at what point in this election, of all elections, during a pandemic, during the most hotly contested sitting president in the last century, in what universe does it make sense that you just go, we're going to start counting again tomorrow? I know Trump looks like he's taking this thing by the horns. It's not you're telling me if those numbers weren't switched, you can tell me with a straight face that wouldn't have gone through the night and called it for Biden? And if it was, it as well as it should have. But
exactly.
But at what point is he winning Pennsylvania, Ohio? They don't call Texas and Florida until it's at 98%. Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, all going as well.
They called it at what? Like 70 or something. It was like some stupid number.
They called
Arizona.
They called Arizona for Biden at 0%.
Yeah. At Arizona, they called it at 70-something%, like 75%.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's still, there was at least 800,000 votes still outstanding. Yeah. And here's the thing. Well, the argument was, there's no way even at 800,000 votes he would win. But actually, he could have won. But what's more important is Biden even got up there and go, every vote counts. Why aren't we counting all 800,000 votes, man, for Arizona before we call it, right? So there's the, this is what's wrong with this system. Even Virginia, they called it early, and at the end of the day, the percentages were higher for Trump, and so, they didn't run this thing all the way to, its logical end, man. They didn't end like they should have. They just called it early. He's losing, just call it now. That's not, to me, that's not fair voting, right? Because other people's votes now are not being counted. Every vote should have been counted. And that would have been a huge difference. And I agree, man. You know what? When you cast a ballot, that needs to be there on November 3rd. Yeah. Not November 7th or 8th, man. Yeah. And if you're afraid it's not going to get there on time, fucking
vote
cast
early.
It earlier. And if you're afraid that, I might change my mind, then wait till the last day and walk your ass down there and stop being a chicken shit about COVID and go vote.
Yeah.
You know, and so
If there's a homework assignment, this is what I thought of. This just made me think of like college, organic chemistry. It's like, here's a bonus question: what fucking add hydrogen gas and palladium, and it causes what? And everyone turns in their bonus assignment. If you get it right, you get a point in the final exam. At no point can you turn in. Everyone turns it in, and then the answer comes up on the screen, and you go, hold on, I still have mine. And they go, okay, well, you bring it down. Everyone's gonna go, fuck that kid. He's coming down after. No, well, it's going.
Hey,
it's
my
going,
exam's still in the mail. It should be here tomorrow.
It looks like it's going to Trump. It looks like it's you know what? And I would know when you're trying to get into medical school and they're deciding whether or not you're fit and competent to be a doctor. They don't let any of that shit go through. So when there's an election and it goes Pennsylvania, it looks like it's going to Trump. You know what the exact, and I fuck you not. What the reasoning was from the ballot counting office.
They just talked about this on the news.
No, was because COVID. We need to go home and everyone needs to get their sleep. Because COVID only strikes at night. Fucking A. I thought I had more brain cells between my ears, but apparently I don't. This is a fucking coup in front of our eyes. And God damn it. And for everyone that's going, oh, look at that fucking far right guy. I voted for Obama and Bernie, all right? I don't care about switching sides. I do what I think is right. And right now we're seeing this taken right in front of our eyes. But, Dale, back to what you said, I think as much as this is all theater and surprising and exhilarating to everyone watching, I think that they knew this was coming. I think Biden knew that they were going to do this, and I think Trump knew that they were going to do this. And I think what this really is although all of us we're like a bunch of women, oh my God, it's getting crazy. I think reality is this is probably a lot more like the Cold War. These are chess moves that they knew were coming, and we're moving a port here, and we're putting missiles here, and we're putting satellites there. This is all a slow and steady war game that's been played out 100,000 times on
So what's the end state? What's the end state, guys?
The end state is I think Trump is the president, and I keep going back to this.
Based on what?
I'm going back to
actually.
No. So this is what I'm going on. It's very loose, admittedly. Trump managed to take down the Bush dynasty and the Clinton dynasty and still win. He did that not being president. Now he is the president. And if you don't think there were forces behind that, Obama utilized the National Security Agency as well as the FBI and Crossfire Hurricane. If you don't think Trump isn't dipping his toes into the power of a president as opposed to just a private citizen, and had 4 years to plan for this. And not only that, the entire nation has been red-pilled for the last 4 years. See, for 2 years, they screamed he's a Russian, and then it came out it was nothing. And they went, oopsies, I guess not. No, the whole nation has been red-pilled. Don't believe what you see on the news. I went to a polling station yesterday. I saw a bunch of Biden supporters and Trump supporters. Guess what? All smiles, all laughing, all sharing coffee and Dunkin' Donuts. Don't buy into the narrative. I think the vast majority of America right now is going, what the fuck? Just we stopped counting because we're tired? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
I think I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think Trump's going to win. I mean, the numbers support that, unless
I 100% believe Trump wins.
Unless somewhere there's these mysterious ballots show up like they did last night. What 140,000? Like all at one time. Ka-ting! Oh, the spike went up for Biden.
All for Biden. 100% of the votes went for Biden.
Yeah,
they found a ballot of Biden votes. Wow. I mean, what a coincidence.
All of that, dude. Look, man. Anybody with a live brain cell knows something's wrong with that, man. And and I think that's why, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. And I think anybody that's fair and rational will look at this and call the bullshit flag. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to see the numbers definitely favor Trump, and I think he is the president, and I think he will be the president. But they've got other tricks up their sleeve, man. They're going to try to tangle this thing up through through January, man. And then at some point you go, well, we don't have a fucking president right now because this whole system's fucked up. So Nancy Pelosi, step up. You got the con now, right? That's kind of what I think they would love to see happen. And when that happens, can you imagine that bitch becomes a president just by proxy, man, just by being there, right? And this is, man, again, like I said, the good news is it looks like GOP has retained the Senate, and we've got majority in the Supreme Court, and that favors Americans, right? And then here's the other thing too. I want to say, you said earlier, it's their prerogative to vote for whatever guy they want based on the guy. Actually, you know what? Everybody, and so here's what's wrong with going in and not liking Trump. I don't like Trump, right? Because, he's mean and he's orange and all these fucking nasty shit they say about this guy. I didn't go down and vote for Trump because he's my mentor and I look at it for my moral values. I went to Trump because I looked at what does he represent. he represents what I believe in, right? The Bill of Rights, the U.S. Constitution, the way of American life. I believe in those things. I voted for the substance behind the man in the party, okay? Not the man, or not even the party, but what they represent. I always vote for what they represent, which is the American ideal, okay? And so when you say I'm voting for Biden because Trump is crash and he's so mean and nasty, you're a fucking moron. You're just as dumb and nasty as he is, because you would vote for a guy based on the superficiality of who he is, his personality, rather than what he's done. Look, in the military, we have leaders all the time. They're assholes, right? They're total assholes. But you know what? These assholes are usually good leaders. They do their job, man. They take care of their men. Right. And so we still respect them. We might not like their personality. OK, but we like what they're doing. And what they're doing is taking care of their soldiers. What they're doing is meeting mission. That's what's important. Right. And that's why, I've always been an advocate for, man, everybody should spend at least 2 or 3 years in the military. Right. Not because you're going to get brainwashed, but you're actually going to learn something about civility. You're going to actually learn something about, respecting your fellow man. You don't see this garbage in the military. Every now and then you get some bullshit, right? But for the most part, man, you don't see this, man, because we are taught to respect each other, to respect the system, to respect the process, to respect your leaders, right? And whether you like it or not, respect the process. And at the end, you will grow and be in a position or given the opportunity to make any changes you want, right? And so I always say to these people that piss and moan about Trump, blah, 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 and my question to you is, asshole, what have you done for this country? Well, why are you not president? What have you done? What kind of positive changes have you made besides burning down your freaking neighborhoods?
I know.
What kind of changes have you made besides attacking people for their for their perspective and the way they feel about a president, right? Why are you attacking people? They attack us on the color of our skin. White people attacking white people because of the color of skin. Like, we've gone into a whole world of madness, man. There's no more common sense. No more common sense. And here we are, and sadly, man, our children are going to pay for this, man. And our children is going to pay for this. I have an out. Everybody knows that, right? I won't go into my situation, but I have an out. But I don't have an out for my children, right? So that's why I'm still here standing steadfast for my kids, man, because, at the end, that's all that matters. Not me anymore. I'm getting up there. I've done it all, and I don't make threats or anything like that, but I don't have anything to lose either. I'm just tired of the bullshit,
Well, and there's also an important point to, you got to choose your battles. You got to know when to make the move. You got to be able to, as the Chinese said, don't ask the way to the emperor's cauldron. You have to know when to make the move. And, you can't have this every day. Today is the most important day of political Trump. It's like, no, you can't always be on DEFCON 1 because then it loses its importance. But there are times, and I think right now seeing a presidential election being paused because Trump is leading. And goddamn well in your heart, you may not want to admit it if you don't like Trump, and that's fine. Now, so I'm not asking you to vocally say it, because by saying something vocally, your ego's going to get in the way, as it does for me, as it does for Dale, as it does for Ted, as it does for everybody. But in your heart, if you know right now that if this was going to Biden, this would have been counted last night, and as well as it should have. But it's not. And then furthermore, they're censoring Trump's tweets. You cannot retweet them, and you cannot like them. He's trying to communicate right now. If your mode of action is to censor the flow of information, then that means that you don't have a winning argument. That means the only argument you have is the toddler. You just scream and yell, scream and yell. It doesn't work. This isn't Maury. This isn't Jerry Springer. This is the United States of America. You cannot do that. And furthermore, let's back up and look at the much bigger picture. All right, Tommy, maybe you're freaking out. This is an election. Elections have consequences. Sure. No, we have seen over the last 50 years what is happening with communist China. We had the CCP from 45 to 89, and we battled them, and we won. But what did we do? There were dominoes that we kept from falling. Vietnam War, Korean War, putting missiles in Turkey, the Marshall Plan, going to the Berlin airlift. There are certain things that you have to choose that you're not going to let these fall because they're the dominoes that cascade into a global CCP. And they managed to kill 100 million in a century. They would have done a lot more if it wasn't for the actions of the United States between 45 and 89. And I'll argue that to the death. Right now, they added another C. It's the CCCP, right? So it's just it's the CCP plus some cunts, right? So what they're doing right now is, Dale got it, but what they're doing right now is, that is the next thing. So this isn't just an election. We are the thing that's holding up the levy against the CCP or the CCCP, and that's what you're seeing right now. So if this falls, this isn't just an election, right? There's a lot more behind this. We are the line between the CCCP and the rest of the world. And if you don't think that there is one, and I wonder, well, if by any chance does that country have any ties to one of the candidates? I don't remember. Maybe, I don't remember. No, it couldn't have been Biden, could it? No. If you don't think that their fingers are in this, this isn't just the DNC. This is a war against the West and communism. It's just Cold War Part 2. That's exactly what it is. We took 15 years off, but now we're back, all right? Halftime show's over, and now we're back. And this is exactly what it is. If they can't take us on the battlefront, what are they going to do? They're going to start pressuring things in Hong Kong and Taiwan, which we're seeing. They're amassing their troops on the border of Taiwan. If they can't take more land, they'll build more land, South China Sea. If they can't take us toe-to-toe in the economy, what will they do? They'll flood the border with fentanyl and, COVID-19. If they can't take us toe-to-toe in the air, what are they going to do? They're going to take an election. If you don't think this is a war, it's what Brigadier General Robert Spalding said in his book, episode 161, Stealth War, How China Went to War with America While We Slept. That's exactly what's happening right now, and you're seeing it in front of your eyes right now. So no, I don't think this is all bluster and bluff and pearl clutching. You're seeing the election taken right in front of your eyes. And if they weren't, if this was for Biden, why would they have not called it last night? And if they didn't think that there was any chance Trump would win, why the fuck are they censoring the sitting U.S. president? Excuse my rant, but that's what's happening right now. And so there is a lot going on.
Literally taken away as a First Amendment right.
Exactly. And if you don't think that First Amendment right goes, guess what's coming next? They're taking the Second Amendment. Beto O'Rourke, right? Yeah. Hell yeah, we're coming for your guns. Listen, they don't want your guns. They want you. Your guns are standing between them and you. These communist fucks will kill you 100 times out of 100 times. They always have. They always will. All right? If you don't think that this is going to be labeled as a symbol of hate speech, it's coming. All right? So that's what's happening. And furthermore, I don't think I don't think Biden's stupid. I don't think Trump's stupid. I think they've both war gamed this 1,000 times over. I think that this is just another chess move. There's another one behind this and behind that and behind this. Ultimately, I've never seen Trump make a statement that he didn't already know that he won. Art of war. Win the battle before you start. Appear strong when you are weak. Appear weak when you are strong. He said that. What did he say? Obama taps the Trump Tower and taps my campaign, and everyone said that's not true. And then he waits and he comes out with the documents, and it turned out he had the documents all along. This is Trump's game. He doesn't make statements unless he knows they're 100% true. He doesn't take chances at losing. So if he came out at 2 a.m. and said we've won this, then they've won it, and that's just my gut feeling. End rant. I'm sorry.
It's really sad, and Dale has said this a bunch of times, and I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but the sad thing is people aren't as intelligent as you and Dale. And I'll take third in line on that. People don't see this. They see this. They only see so much. They don't think outside the box. They're in their bubble in their home. They don't think about, as long as this doesn't affect me right now, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's the way. And Dale said it's the sheep. Head down. You got your lead sheep up front, and off the cliff you go. And you don't even know it until it's too late. And that's what's happening, in my opinion. You've got such a large majority of Americans. And sadly, I have friends like this. I'm not going to mention their names, but they are exactly like this.
Yeah.
They live with their head in the ground. Their attitude is, look, as long as I can live my life and go to work and make my money, they're not seeing the big picture. All they're seeing is, as long as I'm okay, I really don't give a shit. That is not the attitude to have right now.
And they don't realize they're not going to be okay, right? I've got some very educated friends, very smart, educated friends. And I remember I called one recently, and we got to talking about this, and I told him, I said, this COVID is just not some random pandemic, right? I said, and I explained to him my theory that it's a bioweapon and it has a purpose, right? And I explained the whole thing with, the tariffs by Trump on China, it was retaliatory. This is the third world war. And he was just totally perplexed. Like, really? Is that possible? I mean, he really was convinced it's just some virus that showed up, and that's where we're at today. And these are intelligent people. And here's the other thing that really irks the crap out of me, right? So everybody talks about this silent majority. Let the silent majority speak. Okay, well, assholes, you spoke, and you may very well lose this election. And you spoke and you won, and you're going to lose the election. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to be silent? And guess what? And I know what the answer for most of them is. Well, I'm going to go on doing my business, and I'm going to let the government sort that out. But what they don't realize is the government is a socialist Marxist government. They're not going to work shit out for you, man.
Yeah.
You basically are handing the keys of the kingdom to these guys. Let them work it out. And they're not going to work it out. They're going to work it out so that you become enslaved. And everybody go, oh, we're not going to be slaves in chains. Well, you might be, or you might be. But what you will be is economically, you'll be a slave. All right. In a lot of ways, you will be a slave. You will be subservient, and you will end up as part of a larger government, as part of a larger government, right? The one world government, if you will. And these things are very real, and most people can't get their head around it because they actually don't read a book, man. They actually don't look at history, real history. They actually don't do their due diligence. Why? Because they're so focused on their bubble, like Joe said, right? They don't, they don't have they just don't have the inclination to, the paraspacity, if you will, to poke their head out of the bubble and take a look around and go, what the hell's going on out here? Right? They just pop back in the little shit. Yeah, and so it's sadly, we talked, I think, about this in the last episode where, if it ever came to what's it going to look like, a civil war? Well, it's not going to be battle lines, in a battlefield and reds and blue coats, right? It's going to be guerrilla warfare. It's going to be low intensity conflict. It's going to be something like the IRA in Britain, right? It's going to be those types of tactics. It's going to be terrorism on many different levels. I believe that is the future, especially if Trump wins, right? This is not going to go away. And if Biden wins, it may not be terrorism. It'll still be terrorism, but basically to continue to subjugate to those on the right that resist, right? So you're still going to, and this is what Joe and we all talked about earlier, was you have to be careful what you say because, we're going to be targeted. And Joe pointed out that on one of his sites, he's been getting a lot of comments, accusing us of being what'd you say, Joe? We're anarchists, right? We're being, we're anarchists, and again, this is a testament to the low level of intelligence from these people. We're anarchists. What have we done to espouse warfare? What have we done to espouse burning down business? What have we done to espouse riots and beating people up because the color of their skin, or because they're eating dinner, or because they will not subscribe to, Black Lives Matter or Antifa or all this shit that they made up, right? Who's doing that? It's the left that's doing it. It ain't the right that's doing that. And why call us, why call us, the ones that, are this threat to society, when in fact, I feel like we have been too passive on the right. And that's why I just said a minute ago, the solid majority, what are you going to do when you lose all your rights? What are you going to do when you start losing your money? What are you going to do when you're bullied into submission? You're just going to take it? Or are you going to push back? Are you going to open your freaking mouth, right, and take action and push back?
I mean, what did Joseph Goebbels say? Accuse your enemy of what you were responsible for.
Hey, guys, listen to this.
Not be propaganda.
Just got this email. Hey, Joe, I'm not going to tell you who this is from. Joe, just an FYI, a friend of mine manages several hotels uptown. Democrat backers are paying for hotels for people to come here to riot. Have you ever heard of an organization called Act Blue?
Yeah.
Act Blue, yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, BLM.
Yeah, Act Blue, that's, yeah, take the donations for, they're the ones behind.
He says that they just hooked up to hotels. And then he asked me, what is Act Blue? Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Anyway, that just came in.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, you know what? You know, it was a great speech by Kennedy against the CCP. Is for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, infiltration instead of invasion, of subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice,
Right.
on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. But furthermore, you know what's going on right now? And Joe, you beat me to it with busing in people and putting them in hotels. They're boarding up in cities that they thought were going to go Democrat in case they lost. Their businesses were boarding up yesterday. If you go to a dog, if you just find a dog and you go to pet it, go to the dog shelter or something. I used to do that in college. It would just make me happy. I go pet old dogs. If you go to pet a dog and one of them backs away from you, if you went to 9 dogs and you pet them and they're all and you go to another one and it backs away from you, well, I don't know, man. That tells you that the last owner beat the shit out of it. If there is a power that is hoping to get elected and the people in the city start boarding things up because they think they're going to lose, hey, who's being abused and who's doing the abusing? It's not a bunch of anarchists. It's a bunch of these fucking faggots that burn down cities because they don't get what they want. Fuck them. That's exactly what this is. Fuck them. Anarchists, Jesus Christ. I have probably social distance better than any person in this goddamn country. I'm not going social distance. You can't go to Thanksgiving. You can't see your grandma dying on her deathbed. But goddamn, if you want to go down, burn down a city, more power to you. Horns up, right? Fuck them. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I just got it. I just got it while we were talking. I mean,
it's exactly.
We all know Charlotte's been a hotbed for this stuff.
So Act Blue is part of, so all these donations that went through BLM go through this thing called Act Blue, which is actually money that goes into the Democratic Party.
The DNC, because if BLM doesn't claim them after 30 days, Act Blue can do what they want with them, and they are a subsidiary of the DNC. So if you donate to BLM, you're donating to the DNC. It's exactly it's a paramilitary arm.
He just said, I
cut you off.
No, my buddy just said, hey, I just Googled this organization. They take they're an online fundraising platform for small dollar donations that go to leftist causes.
Sorry, Dale.
And the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, goddamn, not that you guys can speak on it, but I mean, fuck. If there are any 2 guests I've ever had that have any experience with paramilitary operations, this is exactly what this is. This is a paramilitary arm of the DNC.
Think about that. So the residents of Charlotte and North Carolina, okay, are going to tolerate people driving in on a bus, occupying their hotel, then coming out and destroying the fucking place. Really? They should be putting up a fucking barrier and to collectively pushing these people back. They're allowing these outsiders to come in and use their city, their resources against them and destroy the place. Why would you allow that, right? It's like, look, I can tell you where I live, ain't happening. It ain't happening, dude. Look, it's not going to happen.
If they're willing to do this when they're not in power, what the fuck do you think is coming when they are in power? Okay?
Exactly.
If they're willing to do this knowing that you're locked and loaded, what do you think they're going to do in these people who have openly claimed the next step? I mean, what did that Project Veritas undercover video say in early October? If we could get a full-on assault weapons ban, that would be beautiful. Because how will these people defend themselves against tyranny? He's on video saying that. It's this fucking DNC guy, all right? And furthermore, if that doesn't make you think, who's that ex-astronaut that's running as Democrat is on this gun seizing platform? Fucking Buzz Aldrin came out and endorsed his opponent. Another astronaut. You think that's a tight-knit group? No. Buzz Aldrin's a goddamn American. He was like, fuck that. Fuck you.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the reality of it. You can invoke a assault weapons ban all you want. I'm going to tell you, most of us aren't turning no weapons in.
No one's
going to go, here's my magazine. Right?
Yeah.
Those of us that are meat eaters out here ain't giving up shit.
Hey, yeah.
We're not giving up nothing, you know?
Hey, if you're Jewish, just go register yourself in the ghettos. Just go register yourself. They just want to know where you are, all right? Don't ignore the Night of the Long Knives. Hey, ignore Crystal Knock. They're just tagging you on your forum so they know where you are. We just want to know your lineage. God damn, just get on this train. We're putting you why? You're just going to go work. We don't want you to get hurt. There are a lot of crazy communists out there, all right? God damn it. Women and children left, men go right, all right? Ignore it. We're going to go give you a shower. You're going to get disinfected. Oh, you're fucking dead. That's how it happens, okay? Fuck this. You guys are older. You guys don't have anything to lose. I'm 30. I still got some time in this bitch, all right? So, no, I'm fighting this thing. Fuck all of them.
Let me tell you, I think, hey, I will tell you this. If the world really unravels here and somehow Biden, God forbid, gets into power, you better believe the UN is going to be brought in for something.
Absolutely.
Oh,
you better
let them come in.
the UN will be brought
let them come in.
Hey, I'll tell you guys off air. We have a fallback location. That's where we're gonna live stream our revolution. It's gonna be
First of all,
we're gonna live stream the Alamo.
That's a guaranteed.
Yeah.
We're not going to go to the military to do this because the military is going to be like, look, and you really, you need to do something, and don't call them the UN, and then hired soldiers will come here and try to take it. And
actually, that'll never fly, man.
About it.
I would welcome that because that will be the shot heard around the world the second time. First of all, the U.S. military is not going to allow that. Okay, so they'll be fighting the UN. Second of all, I'm going to be fighting the UN. So you send your soldiers over here in my country to try to police my people? Nah, I'm gonna aerate you, man. It's not gonna happen,
Yeah, I mean, and goddamn, wasn't it in Oregon and Portland, those thriving liberal utopias right now? Little side note, didn't they legalize heroin and meth last night? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
I did exactly.
All drugs.
Yeah, what a beautiful, great fucking fabric of society. These are the motherfuckers that want to take you over, all right? They already do. Hey,
meth and heroin.
When is the last far right? Just anyone, please prove me wrong. Make me fucking eat a bag of humble pie dicks right here on air. When's the last time that there's ever been a far right in the last 4 years? This boogeyman of white supremacists, of alt-right, of gunned pro-Trump militia. When's the last time anything has happened? What city have they burned down? What people have they beat with bike locks? This is what happens. If you don't get your way, you start rioting. That is not something you deal with. What is the liberal mindset always with respecting radical Islamic terrorism, right? Don't offend them and they'll stop being mean. Don't offend them. Dude, if that is your mindset and they just keep taking an inch, I mean, goddamn, we tried that with Hitler in 1939 and it didn't work. Appeasement doesn't work. What did Churchill say? If you lay down with dogs, or was it Thomas Jefferson? If you sleep with dogs, you wake up with fleas. What did the Dalai Lama say about the Kalergi plan and the mass migration of Muslim immigrants over into Europe over the last 10 years? The Dalai fucking Lama, all peace and love, said there's nothing wrong. He said there's nothing wrong with loving your neighbor, but you don't sleep next to a rabid dog. That's just stupid. That's what's coming. So fuck all of this. So if we just give them the election, maybe they'll stop. Maybe they'll stop. Maybe these people that will censor the sitting president and stop an election on air and bus in fucking rioters to burn down your city. That's not hyperbole. To burn down, mostly fiery, but mostly peaceful protest, to burn down your city. If they will do that when they're not in power, what the fuck are they going to do in power? Jesus.
And don't forget, guys, don't forget, these people are no different, like you said, like terrorists, and Dale and I know a little bit about this. They can smell weakness a mile away.
It's like a great white in the ocean. They can smell the blood.
Weakness, or they will be on you like stink on shit. There's no difference in this situation. You cannot acquiesce and show weakness because you're gonna get hammered.
What did Mike Tyson say about walking into the ring? Mike Tyson, he goes, I beat them before I throw the first punch. I look them in the eye. I'm never blinking. And then for a millisecond, they look away. Boom, chink in the armor. I already beat him. Right. Mike Tyson, greatest fighter ever lived. He would say that. He said it wasn't even the fight. You just wait until they look away. Done. It's over. You beat him psychologically.
It's literally Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right now they're coming in and they're all methed out and on Viagra and they're ready to stick their dick in your ass. And a lot of people right now are going, you're not. And some people are going, well, maybe they'll use lube if I'm nice. No, they're in your house with their pants down. Fuck off. That's what's happening, man. But that's my 2 cents on it. What about you guys?
I think. I mean, what else can you say, man? I mean, we laid it all out there many times before, and again,
we're not
going to convert nobody. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I said we called this months ago.
Yeah. And us going on. All we're doing is illuminating what is obvious, and those that are going to be enlightened have already been enlightened. The ones that need to be enlightened will not be enlightened because of cognitive dissonance, right? They can't accept truth even when it flies into the face because they've bought into a false narrative so long. It's like admitting defeat. And it's a matter of pride. And it's a matter of poor intellect, man. Some people just do not have the intellect, literally do not have the intellect to reason and sort it out, and we talk about, everybody's, equal and, we're all, no, actually we're not all equal, and if we're not, we're different. It's obvious we're different. We're physically different and we think differently. And some of us are smarter than others, and I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I'm far from it, man. There's people that are freaking geniuses that I wish I was like, but one thing I do have is effective intelligence. And, what is effective intelligence? That's to apply the information that I know, the experiences that I have, and taking in what I see as truth, analyzing it, and then making my own decision if it's credible or not before I apply it to anything that, everything that I do in life. And most people are just too sorry, too lazy, too immature, too uneducated, I can go down 1,000 reasons why most people are just worthless. And I call them the dumb masses. And I say most people. I'm not saying all people. So don't get offended unless you think the shoe fits, But you know who you are, and you don't know who you are because everything I just described, most people don't even know they are that, right? Yeah. They don't even know that. They're walking through this world, think they're freaking smart, and they don't know what they don't know, right? Yeah. They really don't know what they don't know, and that's the danger. And we have this, we have a system where when you're turned 18, you can vote. I think that's the worst. I think that's the worst part of the system. You shouldn't be allowed to vote until you're at least 30 and you have some world experience. How can you look, when I was 18, I didn't know my ass from a hole of ground, right? How am I going to vote on something that matters to a 30 or 40 or 50-year-old couple or married couple or family, right? How do I know what's good for them? And why should I have a right to vote? I don't have no time, no experience, and even the education in school, man, look, does not prepare me for life, man. We already know that. Look what's happening. Education's been thumbed down. History's been rewritten, I don't believe you're smart enough at the age of 18 or under the age of 30. And I say that meaning that you don't have enough experience to really weigh in on matters that affect everybody else, in their lives, because that's what you're telling us. It's like they should be allowed to vote in a guy that will take away our freedoms, take away our ability to defend ourselves, take away our freedoms of speech, take away our money that we work for. I mean, I would go down the list, man. Why would you, what makes you think that's okay? That's not okay. And I think that needs to be, I think that needs to be changed. Two, I kind of feel like early voting shouldn't be allowed until maybe the last week, or after the last campaign, right? Or the last
debate.
The last debate, right? So that everybody can walk away and go, okay, I got all the information now. I've seen both guys. Now I can make a decision. We got people out there, voting 3-4 weeks ago, and facts did change. In fact, let's look at the Biden laptop and all the shit.
Yeah,
you already cast your vote.
Good point.
How you gonna undo that, right? So you just voted for a criminal, and you didn't wait till you got in a hurry, or you already made your mind up based on what? They're not on all the facts.
Yeah,
it was not on all the facts.
Not on the fact that the presidential candidate's son is a crackhead pedophile taking bribes from the CCP. But furthermore, it's happening. It's happening right now. And if you don't think it's coming to you, it's not affecting me right now. Well, shit, man, I'm on the 110th floor of the World Trade Center. I know a plane just hit the 96th. It's fine up here. All those people screaming and jumping, they're overreacting. They're a bunch of anarchists, all right? Oh, man, It's getting a little hot. It's getting a little hot. It's collapsed. It's dead. You're done. That's what's coming. It's happening in front of your eyes. It is 12:48 p.m. on November 5th, 2020. I'm stupid. November 4th. What? Yeah, November 4th. Excuse me. November 4th, Civil War. I forgot the last 2 episodes. That's what's happening right now. I do not see Trump letting – Trump has nothing – the last 4 years, Trump has had something to lose, and it's the election. Trump now has nothing to lose. I think you're going to see the most vicious big dick Don yet, and I think it's going to be hilarious. I don't think
I hope so, man.
I don't think
I hope so.
I think it's I legitimately I've watched him talk live at 2 a.m. 0% chance do I think he loses. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe I have a gut feeling. I don't know. He doesn't do this. He never makes statements of he never makes affirmative statements unless he already knows the answer. And that's just his playbook. He says that in his book, Art of the Deal.
Yeah, I agree. He's not going to make a comment such as that without him not having data. Somebody's coming to him saying, look, here's the deal.
Yeah. And furthermore, it's not, it'd be one thing if, okay, let's just flip this real quick and then we'll wrap this bitch up. Let's flip this. Let's say all those states are flipped that were for Trump are going to Biden, right? Ohio, right. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin. What would the reaction be if Trump called at 10 p.m. and said, we're not counting, we're going to start counting again tomorrow, and then before you woke up, you realized half those states switched for Trump? There wouldn't be a little your spidey sense wouldn't be going a little haywire right now?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? We got to call it, and oh my God, what a fucking quinky dink. All these states went for Biden. What do you know? Wow, 168,000? God damn, that is incredible. What are the odds of that?
Zero.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Zero. I think they've been planning for this. I think no, I think they have it. I think this is a commie soft coup, and respectfully disagree with you guys. I don't think the vast majority of Americans are stupid. I think a lot of them are. I think there are a lot of people that are watching this right now, and they are getting the red pill of a lifetime. You just pause right? It's kind of like at the end of a game, a football game or a basketball game, and they made the game-winning shot, but it's kind of obvious that it didn't hit until the buzzer went off. What do the teams always do? Run to the locker rooms, right? They try to make it appear over. And what do the refs always do? Hold your dick. Come back here. We look at it. Maybe you took it. You won. Maybe you didn't. Maybe we have to play the last 0.8 seconds of a game, and then you win. You don't just run off. The fact that, nope, we got to call it. We're just not going to count till tomorrow. Sorry. Got to go.
Unfortunately, all Americans, okay, maybe they're not stupid. A lot of them are just lazy.
Sure.
But unfortunately, at this point, there's nothing they can do. They're just back. They're just along for the ride. And it comes down to this system that's been corrupted to be fair, which it will not. It's already proven to be so unfair, right? That, unless Trump has got a good plan already in place to overcome this shit, this is gonna turn out bad. And I'm hoping in Trump, and I have confidence in Trump, man. That guy's pretty cagey, and he's pretty smart. And whoever his guys are behind him, his strategists, I know they've got contingency plans. I know they're not just going, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? They've already saw this coming, right? Yeah. So hopefully their plan is better than the plan on the left with the idiots, right? And so that's where we're at today. But the good news is, again, like I started in the beginning, Trump was at least proactive in putting the new Supreme Court judge in there, right? And so basically, balancing everything to the right. That's a good thing, all right? So he was proactive. Thank God he ran that through there, and he did his job. And so in some sense, he may have saved us all, even if he loses to some degree. And then with the Senate still being held by the GOP, Biden and the House are basically they're inert, man. Nothing. They're going to have very limited go on anything, and they're going to get they're going to get the same. And not only that. Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think this whole Biden laptop thing is going to explode in their face, man. I got a feeling you're going to see this thing come back to light. And basically, Biden's going to go for the ride for the next 4 years, the collusion with the Chinese. And he's going to be basically on his heels trying to fight this off. That's what I hope anyways. I hope they make his life hell, just like they did Trump for the next 4 years. I mean, come at him from every angle, over and over and over and over. And just cut off any policies he tries to implement, just cut him off at the knees. And just make him totally worthless. And I think at some point, finally, the left will go, damn, I guess he was the wrong guy. And maybe down the road here, everybody come back to go and get together and realize that, you know what? The reason America was great at one point is because the American people governed America, not corrupt politicians. And that is where we went wrong. We allowed these corrupt politicians to run our country, when in fact, that's not their job. Their job is to represent the American people, and they haven't done that, and they have not done that in good faith. Okay, they have made millions and millions of dollars on the public dole. How does that work? Okay, There needs to be new rules. There needs to be term limitations. There needs limitations. There needs to be a lot of things that some changes made to keep these corrupt politicians from leveraging their power for money, for influence, and for, these other agendas that they have at the expense of the citizens, of all citizens, not just Americans, but globally, man, because we are not the only ones that will be affected by this. I tell people in Indonesia all the time, you better hope Trump wins. You better hope Trump wins, or you'll be speaking Chinese in 10 years, and so
India knows it. There's tons of images last night coming from all over India. It's all these Indian guys. They all sit and they have a big picture of Trump, and he's got a red dot, a painted red dot, and they're all doing prayer circles for Trump because they're not stupid. They're next to China. They know what's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. I mean, the Chinese are, they're bucking for that position of being, the world leader, and
this is the fourth quarter. You got to make it stand. And personally, I think that Trump and his team is a lot more like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady than I do anything else. So I'm very confident. And
correct me if I'm wrong too. We've got six conservative justices right now. Tom, correct me if I'm right. 6?
6-3. Yes.
So I mean, how that'll play into it, I don't know. 3 of those justices Trump put in.
Yeah.
They're 3.
Yeah.
I think it's the most that any president's ever done. So if this does go to the Supreme Court and how that flushes out, I'm real confident that they're going to do the right thing. Yeah, man. Dale, I'll close exactly what Dale said. This is our country. Always has been, always will be. Our politicians represent us. And we lost that summer. I don't know where. I don't know what happened, where it happened. I'm sure someday a history book will be written about it. But right now, where we are at 11/4/2020, I don't know where it happened. But somewhere along the way, we became rather corrupt.
Yeah, that's it.
I hate to say that because I love my country. I know, Tom, you love our country. Dale loves our country. It's sad. It saddens me.
Yeah.
To see this happen. It's sad to see the sacrifices that men and women make for our country on a daily basis to just hand it over to literally somebody I wouldn't trust with a potato gun.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, God willing, this will come out the way it should. But if not, be prepared.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Fuck these commie fucks. But I'm a little diplomatic. It's fuck these communists. If they can do this right now, then this can come back to you from the right. What if in 4 years they call it and they start busing in protesters? And instead of a bunch of overweight fucking gas mask needing, oxygen needing, blue-haired land whales that don't know their gender, it's going to be a bunch of really fucking pissed off guys locked and loaded. But that's the reality. So if you can do it, just like if you can pack the courts, it can come back to bite you. If you're okay with just calling an election and then just switching everything, you're okay with that coming back to you. And that's exactly what.
Accept it. That's what I'm saying. Accept the consequences.
Yeah, listen. This is an attempt at a soft coup, and that's exactly what's happening. And instead of the kind of beat it into the ground, it's always ask yourself: are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Ask yourself: are you safer than you were 4 years ago? You are absolutely not. If you are fearful that if one side wins, the other side's going to burn down your city, so you have to board up. Okay, we'll just really think about that. That's not society. That's the jungle. That's the Wild West. I think I have faith in the vast majority of Americans. I see zero. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll eat a humble pie, in which case I'll be in a gulag, and that's fine. I'll go out swinging. I'll take down as many Chinese as I can. He's going to win this. I have no doubt in my mind. Whether or not you want it to happen, you can't do this. I don't think people are stupid. That's my alarm for this podcast. Yeah, that's my alarm for this podcast. Apparently I set it off by an hour, but whatever. Gentlemen, Dale, closing words.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's there's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. One is, I think you're right. I think Trump's going to win. It ain't going to be an easy win. It's going to be a lot of legal stuff going on, but I think he'll prevail ultimately. And then we'll have 4 more years of a lot more bullshit that we endured the last 4 years. More impeachments, blah, blah, blah. But I think Trump will win. 2, if he doesn't win, the upside is the Supreme Court, again, favors the right, and the Senate favors the right. So I think Biden and Kamala Harris, that hooker, I don't think she's gonna, they're not gonna be able to do jack, man. They're gonna, there's a wall in front of them. They ain't gonna get through it, man. And they'll just be lame duck vice presidents and presidents. And hopefully in 4 years, we get somebody who can come along. And whether it's Trump again or whether it's, I can think of a lot of people I would love to see step up, Trey Gowdy, Candace Owens. I see some really smart, dynamic people out there, man, that could really come. I mean, these guys are savvy and they're personable, and they've got that charisma that dynamics that's needed, man, to maybe come back, and stage a good comeback and undo the next 4 years if Biden wins.
Yeah, I'm not pessimistic. I really am optimistic. I think there are a lot of brilliant, and all those people you just named, there are a lot of fucking brilliant up-and-coming people. I don't think it ends with Trump. Furthermore, I don't think I do not believe Trump wins. I do believe that the universe favors good. As MLK said, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it always arcs towards justice. I think that this is just a passing thing. This is the Civil War. This is World War II. This is the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is 9/11. This is 2008. We've done this before. We'll do it again. And because America is the best goddamn country in the history of the world, we will survive. Let's end it, boys.
All right, guys.
Good call, Ted-I. Good call, Dale. Let's
Thank
fucking
you.
do this. God bless America. Stay safe, everybody. Peace.
Peace.